Starting in 5, 4, 3.
Yummy like a gummy bear.
It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this for November 20th, 2023. For the next hour or so, let me help you sort through the world of gaming on Game Mess Mornings Live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today, gamers are bewildered by Sony's latest new game announcement, and a major game hits a big anniversary. But first, please join me in welcoming today's co-host to Game Mess Mornings. It's Jordan Midler, everybody. Jordan, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm back. I'm out of the guide's hell. I've been released from Robinson's prison camp of writing about Call of Duty loadouts, and I'm ready to talk about the news. How are you, man?
I'm pretty good. You were in the guide mines like all year long. It was one of those years, huh?
Pretty much. Don't know if you've heard of this this Google, but the algorithm robot across the whole space of games has decided that we're going to make you make so much less money than you did last year. So everyone's shitting themselves. So it's guides. And there's been a general downturn in interest in the big games of the year generally compared to the pandemic year, man. The money we were making in the pandemic. Oh, bring it back. But yes, that's where I've been.
You know, it was, it's strange because it's like, you know, it is high tide, low tide. Elden Ring was a gold mine. And then earlier this year, it's like, oh yeah, we're going to have several of those this year. And it's like, no, actually they kind of cancel each other out in some ways. Yep. I mean, people, and really the people are playing so many games, they do get to a point where they're like, actually, we just want to know how to beat this thing. Can you just tell me that so I can get back to playing my game? I don't care about any of this other bullshit you're writing about. I'm just playing games right now. So tell me how to beat the fucking boss on level 3 so I can get back to playing this game. I want nothing else to do with you. And it's like, oh, you know what? At a certain point, fair enough. I get it, but it's difficult to like put your finger on that pulse and figure out where, or put your finger to the air and figure out where it's going to blow next, right?
And also because Google are robbing bastards, have started doing this thing where they will steal like a line of text that basically gives the game away and just put it on the page, and you won't get a page view for that.
No, but they pay you for that content. I mean, that's not theirs, right? So
no, they do
oh,
not.
weird.
So here's the thing. They've created an ecosystem wherein we have to write guides of 400 words to answer a question that can be answered in 3 words.
Yeah, because the robot's just, I love words. Yeah. Give me more words. Then yum, 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 yum.
Repeat that keyword, repeat the title. But Google have seen that and been like, oh, we don't, that's a bit too much, didn't read, and we'll just steal your content and put it on the front page and give you absolutely fuck all for it. The internet is going down the tubes. Support independent media.
I'm so glad you're here because this morning, I was like, I could just like start my own website. Like I should just start my own website. I could probably make money. I'm so glad you're telling me how stupid I am. What a stupid bastard I am for thinking that.
No, the web is dead. R.I.P. You dead bitch.
Yeah, it's I mean, listen, at some points it lived, and some points it's fucking dead.
Pretty much.
Yeah, but how you been otherwise? I mean, listen, it's still busy. You got to make do with what you got. But were you able to like keep up with the games you wanted to play, all that stuff, or was it just a hot mess?
Oh, brother, I reviewed everything basically. I played everything. The only thing I didn't review this year was Mario Wonder. I've been playing that in my spare time. Cool little game. I can see why it's doing well in Game of the Year. It's no Starfield. No, let's not talk about that. But yeah, you know, here's the thing, and this is going to get me roasted alive by people who already think I'm a shill. You know, the thing that has been the biggest surprise for me this year, the good PSP.
Oh man, I'm right there.
Ship PSP.
I'm still trying to get my hands on one, but I knew I would love that thing the second I saw it. So I'm glad to hear so many people seem to be like, yeah, no, actually, this does make more sense than we originally thought. A big part of it is like it's just well made, right? It seems like they did a really good job with the build quality and the quality of the streaming and all that.
It's the thing is, Sony makes brilliant hardware. Yes. It was the same with the PlayStation VR. All their stuff feels so good to touch, like all their controllers and that. So yes, it's a really nice piece of kit that won't fit everyone's lifestyle, but it seems to fit enough people's lifestyle, because I don't know how it is in the US, but it's completely sold out in the UK. You can't.
Yeah, they get sold out here too. Yeah.
So
Jim Ryan's swan song. I think we can really just say absolute salute to the one and only, the legend himself, Jim Ryan, of course. All right, let's explain what we do here. Most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Speaking, before I say hello, YouTube, I know everyone's waiting for it. Blue ball and everybody. But speaking of a show later, hey, everybody, more tickets are on sale for our live show in Los Angeles, California on December 9th, Saturday at noon. We've moved to a larger venue. So more tickets are on sale. We'll probably have a link somewhere. Someone could drop it in the chat here. We'll have it in the description and all that stuff. But yeah, if you were like, oh man, that sucks, it sold out so fast last time, now you have a chance to go ahead and get tickets. I think that I'm pretty sure pricing's the same. I'm pretty sure seating all works is the same, where it's kind of first come, first serve sort of thing. But yeah, go ahead and grab those tickets. Come hang out with us. It'll be our Game of the Year finale. We'll be doing a lot of other Game of the Year content leading up to that, a lot of other podcasts, other categories on the days before that. But this will be the finale with a couple other categories and actually crowning Giant Bomb's Game of the Year. So really looking forward to that. We got special guests. We got the whole crew coming out to LA. It's going to be a good time. Any chance you'll be in LA for the Game Awards, Jordan?
Look, brother, I was on flight trackers about 5 minutes before this show, and I was like, how much back pay did Giant Bomb actually owe me at this point that we could make this work?
Yes.
I'm presuming that I wouldn't need to pay for a ticket because, you know, I'm part of the family.
Yeah.
It's genuinely only 500 quid to fly there for like a day, get a hotel, then fly the next day. So I'd be flying longer than I would be in that hellhole of Los Angeles. But you know what? We'll see. You might hear my music right as the show goes off the air and the little copyright logo comes up. I'll come backstage, smash Dan over the head with a chair.
Don't tell me. Just tell Jan. He'll make it happen. All right, and he'll be able to make the music happen and all that stuff. So
we'll see.
That'd be beautiful. All right, so here we are, everybody. You ready? Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, officially announced for PS5. Upgrade path detailed. This is from Jordan Midler at VGC. Following earlier leaks, Naughty Dog has officially announced The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered for PS5 on a Friday night. The game, which will be released on PlayStation 5 on January 19th, 2024, will also receive a physical deluxe edition. The WLF edition will include steelbook display case, 4 enamel pins, a Washington Liberation front patch, and a total of 47 Society of Champions trading cards, including 8 holographic cards. This version of the game will be exclusively available at PlayStation Direct in the United States, United Kingdom, Germany, France, Benelux, Italy, Spain, Portugal, and Austria. Did I say Benelux right?
Yeah, it's that.
Right,
it's just Belgium and Luxembourg together.
But it's just Belgium and Luxembourg. There's no third one in there.
Oh, wait, Brexit means Brexit, mate.
Yeah, that's right. You don't have to know that anymore. That's right. You're scot-free, as they say. All right. Naughty Dog has also confirmed that PS4 owners will be able to upgrade to the PS5 version of the game for $10. Saves from the PS4 version will also carry over into the Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered officially announced for PS5. The upgraded details are, I mean, hey, it's that game again, and there are some improvements allegedly. Some screenshots, comparisons were circulated online. At first, I thought they were a joke, and they looked exactly the same. It's like, no. With diminishing returns, this is just how it works. I get why this is happening, Jordan, right? They have a TV show that's very popular. They need to, these games are so big and expensive that they kind of can't just have one round of making money off of games like this. They need to go back to the well over and over again. And I get it. They have fans that will show up for that. And also there are new fans all the time, thanks to the TV show. So you have part 1 and part 2 on store shelves, maybe eventually part 1 and part 2 together in a single box. That makes a lot of sense. But I think a lot of gamers are like, this is a 3-year-old game already being remastered. What the hell is happening here?
People need to calm down, okay? People need to relax about this situation. I think Naughty Dog didn't help themselves because the last thing they put out was that part 1. If this had just came out at the same time as all the other $10 upgrades to PlayStation 5 that happened early in the gen,
yeah,
no one would bat an eye. Also, the comparison screenshots are very funny. I did like that.
They're very
you will
funny.
be able to see the differences when it runs, though. I think it will run like beautifully. It was already like a ridiculous looking game on PS4. So who cares if Ellie's hair is a bit more like scraggly or whatever?
Right.
But yeah, I'm going to play it again. I think The Last of Us Part 2, for my money, is the best game ever made. So if they're going to put it on a new console, I'm going to play it. I've not played it since 2020, so I'm just glad it's not a director's cut situation where they're trying to charge 70 quid for this, because that would be piss taking. And it has new content. It has like these lost level sequences that they're adding into it. It has a roguelike mode.
Yeah, that's the thing that really gets me, because I'm the one of the guys out there always saying this game would be better if it had a roguelike mode. And well, now The Last of Us Part 2 does, so I got to put my money where my mouth is and actually play that.
Yeah, I think it's a better package than people are giving it credit. I don't know if they're even giving it credit. They're just memeing on it, which is fair enough. We love to meme in this community.
Yeah, I mean, it's like on its face, it is absurd. Like 3 years later, we're already remastering a game. But yeah, if you dig into it, it's like actually they're kind of just charging $10 for something in between an expansion or an update. So a lot of these things feel like they would come in other games as updates. But those games aren't the biggest fucking game ever made in a lot of ways. Like those games aren't $200 million projects the way that this one is. So again, I mean, I'm a little bit understanding of Sony trying to be like, these are the games you want. If this is what you want from us, this is kind of how it has to be in terms of the business model. And most fans who do show up for these games, I don't think are complaining. They seem pretty excited to have any new thing happening with The Last of Us.
Yeah, and that WLF edition will sell out immediately, like the physical version of the Part 1 did. Although if you remember, they shipped those in like paper bags, so by the time they got to people's houses, they were kicked all to shit. So I'm sure they'll do that again.
Oh yeah,
PlayStation Direct's a wonderful service. But also, if you think Neil Druckmann is sitting working on this, you have rocks in your head.
Yes,
like they are on their new thing. This is like a Wetworks team getting this out. Like people need to relax about that.
Yeah, I mean that's not only is that like how that happened. Like that's entirely the point, right? Is that the next big game takes so long, and Naughty Dog is so big. They have all these people who kind of would be doing nothing until that next project is in a position where their work can actually apply to that. And that's happening for seemingly most of their projects. That's why we got The Last of Us 1 remastered 100%. And it's like, well, they already have all of those skills in place. Why wouldn't you just have them continue working on that stuff for the next thing? So they can be, they could stay sharp, and also we could have a new product of some sort. It's almost like it happens as a natural process of figuring out a way to keep everyone busy at Naughty Dog and keeping everyone employed and not having to do the thing where it's like, we just released the game and now we don't have any work for these people for a few years, so we might as well lay everyone off. Like this really is an alternative to that. And again, so as I look at this, I'm like, I am very forgiving of these things for the most part, even though it is absurd. Well, because we just don't think about that stuff too much. We were just like, a 3-year-old game doesn't need to be remastered. What the fuck are you talking about? But it's like, remastered's just a word we use to position something as a product on a shelf, and it does apply here. Whatever, buy it or don't. I will be interested to see how much of a difference we will see when it's running. So the 60 frames per second update already happened for the PS4 version, and this will be 4K as opposed to the 1440p that was upscaled to 4K on for the PS4 version. But I can't tell the difference between 1440p on a TV and 4K, especially when it's upscaled. So I'll be interested to see if people really do notice that stuff.
These eyes can do it.
Well, yeah, but you're a superhuman.
And just a bit of inside baseball here. What do you think about the way this all went down? Because obviously there'd been whispers about this for a while. People in the know kind of knew what was going on, but then it appeared on the PlayStation database, and it all kind of trickled out, and then details appeared via like a news website. Do you think games sometimes get announced on a Friday, but not like a Friday night before the weekend?
Yeah, we don't.
How do you think this was going to go down?
We know. I mean, I think we kind of like can reverse engineer what happened here a little bit, right? It's the thing leaked. It was pretty clear that, and because everyone did know about it, pretty clear that it was true, and that created the puddle news cycle of everyone going, "Are they going to charge $70 for this? Yeah. are they psychotic? And so the anxieties are blowing up, and Naughty Dog's going like, please, we don't want to spend our weekend having people message us about selling this thing for $70. Can we just tell them what's going on? And everyone's like, yep, we have to. Let's just tell them what's going on. And it's that simple. And at a certain point, I'm like, I'm glad the industry's at a point where it's like they're tapped in enough to be like, let's just quell these anxieties right now. It's just a little bit frustrating that we are still so uneasy all the time about how the industry's going to treat us and treat our wallets. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. How did you end up feeling about it?
I thought it was, if it wasn't going to be announced on the Friday, it felt like it was going to be announced sooner than like the Game Awards, because they were very ready to go with full blog posts and stuff like that. Like,
there's a lot of stuff that's like feels like could be at the Game Awards between now and like that Dragon's Dogma 2 stuff. It's like, why wouldn't that be at the Game Awards? It's like, it's just not gonna fucking be at the Game Awards. It's doing its own thing before that.
As I totally agree with you. I liked how they came on Twitter and they were like, okay, it's leaked 15 minutes till the real trailer, 15 minutes till all the information you need and all that stuff. And they kind of wrestled back the narrative as soon as you could put up that image that was like $10 PS4 upgrade. That's it. That's all. That was like the counter to, oh my god, they're charging £1 million for a game from 2020. But yeah, it does make me wonder though what the token PlayStation thing is for the Game Awards, because Naughty Dog are great for a wee trailer like that just shoved in there.
Yeah.
Like, what's it going to be? Are we going to get? Is it going to be Barlog's game? Is it going to be this weird God of War half sequel that is on the wind? Like, what's going on here?
I'm at a point with Sony where I'm like very afraid to build up people's hope, because I thought that last PlayStation showcase, and I was told that they were very proud of that PlayStation showcase before I knew what was in it. And so when it was getting promoted, I'm like, no, let's get our hopes up. Like this is great. And now we've like that happened, and no one was happy with that, and they haven't made any real big announcements about their future lineup since then. So there's like this big gap of like expectation for PlayStation. A company that has historically been very happy to be like, hey, in 3 goddamn years, you're going to be playing this gigantic game and that gigantic game, and maybe even this. And they've sort of scaled back on that stuff for, I'm sure, a variety of reasons, and we can diagnose those, I'm sure, here. But it's like, for the most part, it's like, oh, gamers are just like, they're used to it being one way, knowing a lot about PlayStation's release lineup, and now not knowing so much. But there's Death Stranding 2, Wolverine, and I'm not sure if there's much else. But so, every time we have an opportunity for them to announce something big, I'm like, yeah, they probably could. But I doubt it would be something as big as Barlog's game. I think they would just be... Yeah. I think they're going to just save that stuff for the next showcase for the most part.
I'm also, I totally agree. I cannot believe they didn't at least logo Tsushima 2. Like, that seems like that is one they've literally been hiring for. So that's not some like, oh my god, I can't believe they're doing it kind of situation.
Right.
And they have enough stuff that, well, I suppose stuff wasn't really actively coming out, but they had Spider-Man on the way. They have Death Stranding 2, they have Wolverine, where you can afford a logo or two. Like, I mean, it's not, we don't have to go back to the days where Sony just did a complete conference. It was like, here's 10 logos and that's it. But yeah, they should be a bit more, I think they should be a wee bit more forward looking. I don't know if that's a big Jim Ryan call, or if it's
right.
Or if, who's the one that's saying this is when we are saying about this kind of stuff, and will that change now that Jambo is on his future endeavor shit?
Yeah, if I had to like guess, and this would be a complete guess, but I think Jim Ryan inherited a lot of previously announced things that became maybe slight headaches for him, and so he was just like, let's just be careful about that. And we're looking around the industry, no one really sees a detrimental effect from announcing a game 6 months before it's released. And actually, we probably save a lot of money on marketing by waiting until that 6 to 3 month window before we really kick things into gear. So let's just do that going forward. So yeah, and I mean, Jim Ryan was big on saving money on that stuff. I mean, he was the one that pulled them out of E3. So it's like him looking at that, but like, this is a big expenditure and we don't need to do this. Let's save that. $2 million saved is $2 million earned at a certain point. Yeah. Go ahead.
Just very briefly, Slacker-chan in the chat says, wasn't there a Twisted Metal game happening? And VGC reported on that. There still is a Twisted Metal game. Yeah, there's a Twisted Metal game.
That's, we reported it here as well. It's like, that's the one that was started at, God, who can't remember anymore? The one studio, and it moved to another, and now I can't remember.
All-Star studio.
Yeah, I think
it all moved to Sony Liverpool still kicking a ball. Like, what's going on? It's kicking about the
it got restarted to the point where it's like it was never going to be able to come out in time for that TV show. But maybe season 2. I mean, that show seemed to do fine. So
yeah,
we'll see. real quick before we get to the next story I have marked here, you mentioned Whispers, and it reminded me I wanted to clarify something. So that story about Knights of the Old Republic not being worked on anywhere. I want to clarify that, like, that comes very much from like Sony just kind of wanting to be done with it. Like, my stuff mostly comes from that side. Maybe I heard a little bit from Lucas. It's like it seems deader than dog shit, because that game feels like it cannot happen unless it has a partner like Sony. And because Sony is out, they seem to be out. And Lucas does not like spending money on games anymore. What they do is they find partners who want to develop, and then they have those partners either find a way to self-fund or to find a partner of their own. And that's what the Knights of the Old Republic process was. So, hey, we found a studio that wants to make it, and we found Sony who wants to help fund it, make it happen. Well, with the big funding kind of being pulled, it seems like, to me, it's like, oh, that's definitely done, and there's no reason for anyone to be working on it. Now, the reality is maybe someone somewhere is still imagining that game could happen, and there could be someone working on it. I don't know that far. I don't know what's happening inside Embracer. So to clarify, maybe something's happening there. The reality is, though, they would have to find someone to make that game happen with. And I know that Lucas is very horny to make it happen. Like, they've been wanting to have a Knights of the Old Republic remake for years. So I think if Embracer can find someone, maybe that could still happen, but I don't know. So there you go. Clarified.
It's dead. It's dead. It's gone.
Yeah.
It's coming out at the same time as The Agent.
Listen, the bottom line here that people care about, will I ever be playing that game? The answer to that is almost certainly not. I mean, that's, as I try to clarify here, that if that's your focus, that's still the answer.
Yeah. I'm just gonna pause for when this is clipped out on Twitter. So I'm on that.
There we go. Good stuff. All right. Valve marks Half-Life's 25th anniversary with game update and documentary. This is from Andy Robinson at VGC. Valve has marked Half-Life's 25th anniversary with several promotions and content drops, including an extensive new update for the original game. As detailed on the new 25th anniversary site, Valve has added new multiplayer maps, restored game content, graphics options, and full Steam Deck compatibility. Valve is also marking the occasion by making Half-Life free to keep for anyone adding it to their Steam library this weekend, and putting the rest of the games in the franchise on discount. Finally, Valve has released an hour-long documentary made in partnership with Secret Tape, in which the original development team share their memories of creating Valve's first game. The last Half-Life game, VR title Half-Life Alyx, was released in 2020. This is pretty cool. I'm at a point where I am very nostalgic about not just like playing the games, but hearing from the people involved in making them. One of my favorite experiences this year was the making of Karateka. And this is in that realm. I'm like, I almost wish it's like this could work like that, where it's like play the game and have it all kind of exist in that same piece of software. But hey, I mean, if they're doing all this work and creating a standalone documentary, that's great as well. This is pretty cool, right?
Yeah, this is great. Shout out Beef O'Brady himself, Danny O'Dwyer, for making this happen.
Yes, good work over there.
He's been talking about doing something on Half-Life since the day No Clip launched.
Yes.
So this must be like a huge kind of relief for him. Obviously, this wasn't No Clip. This was his like new kind of boutique in-house agency for companies that want to self-fund it. Because obviously, if it's Valve's money, it's going to be a certain way of how this is going to go versus how it's crowdfunded. But I think this is great, especially for Valve, a company who loves to have people disappear into it and you never hear from them again, and you never hear what games they were working on. This kind of controlled access, I think, is brilliant. Have you watched any of it? I've
not watched yet. I intend to watch it this week if I get some time. Although it's going to be kind of tough with Thanksgiving come up over here. But yeah, I mean, you're right. It reminds me a little bit of The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, where it's like that was Michael Jordan's production company, and that's not really journalism. But let's be clear, Danny knows what he's doing. He's good at he's good at getting these companies, even when they are funding the project, to talk about things in a candid way that is useful. And I mean, I think he's one of the best at doing that. So I'm not like mad about this in any way. The reality is it wouldn't happen any other way. I mean, the last time it did happen was with did Keeley do the last hours of Half-Life Alyx? I can't remember. Or he did one before that. Maybe
Yeah,
It was
I
Half-Life
can't,
2.
I can't quite remember.
Yeah.
Half-Life Alyx is the only Half-Life game I've ever played. Funnily enough,
Really?
it's just a series that is a blind spot for me. Like when it was coming up, I didn't have access to PC games.
Yeah.
The first time I ever owned it was the Orange Box on 360. So
I
it was
I didn't have a great PC at the time, and I was definitely playing mostly console games. But Half-Life was the one making enough ruckus that I checked it out. I'm like, yeah, I get it. This seems pretty good, but I didn't fall in love with it the way a lot of people did. So, too busy playing GoldenEye with Travis Kelce, of course. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We got a lot more news to get to after that. I'll still be here with the beautiful Jordan Midler. Until then, see you soon.
what happens on these breaks? Are you making money? Are you making money right now?
I think we make
Jessica?
money. I think we make money. Yeah.
We on the VGC podcast, which you all should be subscribed to, by the way. We don't control our ads.
Yeah,
so
we don't
occasionally
anymore.
I'll be listening to it back and be like, here's an advert for the Royal Navy, here's an advert for dick pills, here's an advert for all this stuff, and I'm like, I do not endorse this.
Oh,
Apart from dick pills,
listen,
obviously.
Dick pills, of course. Yes.
Yeah,
All right.
not the Navy.
Yeah. Then fuck off, Navy. All right. Let's bring it back. Oh, that's the wrong scene. Oh man, I'm glad I caught that. We're back, Jordan Midler, and we're talking about Warner Brothers denying that the Wonder Woman game will be a service game after that job listing that mentioned that. This is from Ryan Dinsdale over at IGN. A Monolith Productions job listing suggests the upcoming Wonder Woman game will have live service elements, but Warner Brothers is saying that its focus will be squarely on single player. As originally reported by WCCF Tech, Monolith of Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor fame is currently looking for a lead software engineer of gameplay on Wonder Woman and wants the candidate to have experience in helping maintain a live service product or game. When this happened, Jordan, I'm sure like if you guys wrote about this, you guys might have mentioned this as well. When people put this in job listings, it doesn't mean all that much. Like that was the basis of our conversation when we originally talked about this. You can only take so much from a job listing. People want a variety of skills for any number of reasons, not because it's like, oh, the game is 100% that. People do that with Metroid Prime 4 all the time. There's a million job listings for that, and people are like, that. This is what this means for Metroid Prime 4. And the reality is, it means jack shit for these games.
Yeah, and this was a great another great example of how news is disseminated on Twitter now, because that job listing became Wonder Woman is a live service game. It's the end of the world. We've seen it get a new truth rope with +3 accuracy on it. But yeah, it's nice to see what you're about to read happened.
Yeah, let's see here. This comes despite Wonder Woman being announced as a single-player open-world action game featuring an original story with neither developer Monolith or publisher Warner Brothers Games mentioning live service elements previously. Warner Brothers responded with a statement to IGN denying that it will be a live service game. Wonder Woman is a single-player action-adventure game set in a dynamic open world. The third-person experience will allow players to become Diana of Themyscira and introduce an original story set in the DC universe while also featuring the Nemesis system. Wonder Woman is not being designed as a live service, Warner Brothers spokesperson said. Now, previously, Warner Brothers CEO David Zaslav said the company is focused on transforming our biggest franchises from largely console and PC-based with 3 or 4 year release schedules to include more always-on gameplay through live services, multi-platform, and free-to-play extensions, with the goal to have more players spending more time on more platforms. Now, David Zaslav obviously muddied the waters there a little bit while this was all happening. He basically said that, and then a couple days later, this job listing happened. So everyone's like, well, clearly 1 and 1 makes 2. But again, it's like, I think we would have heard one way or the other if that was the case. And it turns out, no, that's not what they're making. At least that's what their claim. Now, I bet Wonder Woman has some sort of like live service shadow inside of it where it's like, yeah, they might have updates to that game over time, or it might get a roguelite mode. That's a very popular thing to do with a lot of different games. And so maybe that comes eventually. And so they want someone who has the ability to build a game that could turn into that through an update at some point of time. But clearly, as the product will be sold, it's going to be a single player game. But boy, the specter of live service is a thing for a lot of gamers right now, right?
Yeah, it must really send the shits up a lot of teams that are currently working on live service games to see everything. They must just collate a doc of every time one of these happens to send it to upper management to be like, this is what is going to happen, and it's only going to get more toxic the later we leave this. How does WB not see the massive success of single player ass Spider-Man 1 and 2 and not go, okay, let's just do one of those? Or even more so, we made
Hogwarts
the
Legacy.
best superhero.
Yeah.
Well, that too, and also a generation ago, we made 3 of the best superhero games ever, and they had not one lick of like online component to them. It's, yeah, it's. I'm glad it's going to be single player. It's reaffirmed that they're going to use the Nemesis system. Got to use that patent. They got to get the money out of that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that patent's about half expired by now, right? Yeah. So they only got 10 more. They're going to get like maybe 1 or 2 more games out of that before that expires.
Yeah, although it's going to be like when was it Namco or something had the patent for mini games in the loading screen and no one did anything with it.
Yeah,
so just like who cares?
Exactly. That's a lot of work. Fuck that.
Yeah. When do you think this game is? 25?
That seems it's probably 26. I would say. So we got a story coming up next where it's like about Wolverine, and it's like, okay, I mean, listen, I didn't necessarily really think that would definitely be 2024, but it's like if that's getting pushed out a little bit further, I think Wonder Woman's 2026 the earliest, probably, and even that seems like, who knows, that could be further along or further out than that. What do you think?
I wonder if we get a Hogwarts sequel before we get Wonder Woman.
Hogwarts sequel is almost certainly already in full development now, right?
They've got the castle, they've got the world. You don't need to change it. You just need to like build, I suppose, like another section. Let people go to the other bits of the story they want to. But the money that game made, like, come on now. Yeah, I wonder what will happen with this. I also wonder if Suicide Squad scared them a little bit. They're like, okay, we can't have a Suicide Squad game that comes in a little bit mid. Although from what I'm hearing, you're loving Suicide Squad now. Your team Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's right.
Despite being its #1 hater.
I've spray painted purple spots all over my body just to let people know that I am weak for Suicide Squad. Yes.
But yeah, I could see maybe 26 for Wonder Woman, late 25 for, I suppose, 3 years is pretty quick. But if it's just the same world, I could see them fitting Wonder Woman and Hogwarts 2 in within 26, if you get me, like before that kind of area. God love us if we ever get another fucking Batman game, eh?
Yeah, that's just terrible business, making another Batman game. People don't like Batman, and it's never been popular.
Who is Batman? Who?
Yeah, okay. I mean, at a certain point, like, you get it, like, if Rocksteady wants to do something different, it's just like, then you get to a point where it's like, hey, well, now you've been making a Suicide Squad game for a fucking decade. Like, is that what you really wanted? Are you fucking serious? The people that came to work at Rocksteady because they love the Batman games have been making a fucking Suicide Squad for 8 years. That's not what anyone wanted. So, I mean, at least I don't believe that's what anyone wanted. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. You got to think that.
Look, Jeff. Rocksteady is in the UK. You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all.
Good luck to everyone over there at Rocksteady. If you can get through this, maybe we can get back to some real shit. You know what? Suicide Squad's probably going to be fun though, Jordan. Come on, man. Let's play. You can come play with us on Giant Bomb when that thing's out. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Bagsy being Captain Boomerang. Is that one of them?
I'm pretty sure. Captain Mr. Boomerang is definitely sounds like one of them, but it's impossible.
Brother.
It's impossible to know at this point. All right, Insomniac's Wolverine won't release until 2025. A report claims, this is from Mike Straw at Insider Gaming. Marvel's Wolverine game from Insomniac won't release until 2025. At least that's what a new report claims. According to known leaker Daniel Richman, not only will the upcoming game not be released in 2024, but it will also feature a darker and more violent tone than past games from the studio. And this is something that I said before when I mentioned the hard R thing, and everyone got very upset with me because that means something different than the last time I heard the term used. As far as location, it's set to be in Madripoor, a Southeast Asian city within the Marvel universe. The city has long been used as a haven for pirates after being built upon the back of a dragon. Fucking comics are stupid. Its proximity to the most important Asian ports makes it a largely lawless haven for smugglers, secret societies, and warlords. We saw that in the trailer where Wolverine, where Logan was hanging out at a bar in Madripoor and kind of setting the tone there. Yeah, I mean, listen, even if this game comes out in 2025, that's still Insomniac sticking to their rapid release schedule. That's just it will be, a year, 2 years off of Spider-Man 2. That's really impressive, right?
Yeah, very much so. Don't Twitter report me on this, but I had a conversation about Wolverine a while ago, and it seemed that things are going at Insomniac pace, and the biggest sticking point was, would Disney/PlayStation/ all rights holders let them make it?
Yes.
Horrifically violent, like Wolverine game. the jury's out on that. But yeah, I could see 2025. There's been a lot of conversation about so no spoilers for Spider-Man 2, the game, but there's ways in which Spider-Man 2 sets up potential like half games in DLCs. Like, where does that fit in? Insomniac has the 2 teams. Where's my boy Ratchet? When are we getting back to another Ratchet game? So yeah, 2025 sounds all right.
Yeah, do you think they do a second Ratchet generation these days, or do you think they just do the one Ratchet game per generation? I think I asked you this the last time. How are you feeling about it now?
I think we get one back half of the gen, maybe. I think
I hope so.
Like me too. I thought Rift Apart was great.
I think it's my favorite PS5 game. Yeah.
You just wonder, like, you don't want Insomniac to just get not bogged down, but you don't want them exclusively to do licensed property Marvel stuff. You want them to have their like silly fart and dick jokes.
Right.
Over
one for you, one for me sort of thing. I want them to still be able to pull that off.
I think we probably do that. We should pour water on people's hopes and dreams. You're never getting another Sunset Overdrive game.
Yeah.
You're never getting another Sunset Overdrive
PlayStation
game.
doesn't want to do that. Yeah.
They might re-release the first one if they can legally do that, but there's not going to be a Sunset Overdrive 2. But yeah, maybe Spider-Man DLC next year, Wolverine the following year, Ratchet again, and then they've talked about, Brian Intihar has been all over the shop talking about how Spider-Man's a trilogy, so maybe you close out the gen with Spider-Man 3, like you keep that going, so we'll see.
Yeah, I could see that. For the Spider-Man DLC, do you think they do an expand-alone, or do you think they just add a DLC to this one this time?
I think Miles Morales sold pretty damn well, so if they can justify it, if they can justify it, they stick that on a disc and go, here you fucking go.
Here you go. Yep. Yeah, here's who they keep teasing for that? The blind guy, Daredevil. Is that who they keep teasing for that?
Oh yeah. So people think Daredevil might be the DLC because his reference wasn't in the base game. Then they updated it to put it back in, and Brian Intihar has been talking about it.
Right,
so
been teasing it hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
It almost feels like a red herring the way he's been teasing it though, where he's like, "Look at this shit." Yeah. He closed out a live stream by like, "Where's Daredevil?" I'm like, "Oh, Brian Intihar."
Or have you finished Spider-Man 2?
Yes, I have.
So the way that game ends, if they were to do a half game or a DLC, it would have to somehow fit mid storyline of the actual game, because what happens at the end can only really be addressed by a full sequel.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so it's a weird situation, but
but I mean, I think that's maybe why you do like a completely new character, or something along those lines in that same
John Cena. John
Cena meets the Spider-Man. The greatest thing since John Cena meets the fucking Mystery Machine team, Scooby-Doo.
The Mystery Machine. You have kids. Are kids not into Scooby-Doo anymore?
Oh, kids don't give a hot banger. Fuck about Scooby-Doo. I could show
now, brother.
I could show my children a picture of Scooby-Doo right now, and they would be like, "What is that thing?"
Yeah, those live action Scooby-Doo films are pretty good. They're
I think
fun. James Gunn.
Yeah, James Gunn. Yeah, that's a wild thing. Yeah, I think I like those. But some of the kids, my kids don't even like Bluey. My kids are weirdos. They're dark and demented, and so they
Australians.
Yeah, they despise them. Yeah, absolutely. All right, Borderlands 4 and Tiny Tina's Wonderland 2 mentioned on LinkedIn profile. This is from Jordan Midler at VGC. Borderlands 4 and Tiny Tina's Wonderland 2 have been mentioned on a LinkedIn profile of a former Gearbox employee. Mention of the games appeared on the LinkedIn profile of former studio technical director of Lost Boys Interactive, Randall Reese. Lost Boys Interactive worked with Gearbox as a support studio on the first Tiny Tina game and the other Take-Two properties such as WWE 2K23. Borderlands 3 was released in September 2019 with the spin-off Tiny Tina's Wonderland releasing in 2022. In 2022, Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford said new Tiny Tina's Wonderlands experiences were in development after the first game shattered the company's targets. Wonderlands shattered all of our target expectations, both critically and commercially, and I'm thrilled to report that I should do this as a magician voice, to report that in addition to the great financial rewards from this victory that will be coming our way in the coming quarters, we have established a firm beachhead. Man, this fucking we clearly now have a new franchise on our hands with future experiences already under development at Gearbox.
Randy Pitchford just gave me this USB drive. Should I check what's on it?
Oh yeah, let's go. Let's just like boot it up. Let's boot it up raw without looking at it first, right here on the stream.
There's a folder here that says magic. I'm not sure.
Maybe it's going to explain how he does some of those wonderful tricks of his.
Yeah, those hobby grade tricks.
Those hobby grade tricks. If I'm being serious right now. Yeah, no shit. I mean, the Borderlands and Tiny Tina's Wonderlands 2 seemed inevitable at a certain point because they're under Embracer, and Embracer was going to greenlight anything that made any money ever, and these ones were like made real money. Both of them do. But I suppose it's maybe a little bit surprising that they have both ready to go right away. But that makes sense at a certain degree as well. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think both Borderlands is still a big, it's still a big hitter. Like Borderlands 4 seemed like the most obvious thing in the world. I really Borderlands 2 I think is an incredible game. The humor is aged terribly, but the gunplay is still good. And like Borderlands 3 was fine, Tiny Tina fine also, but less so. It's just there's a lot of Take-Two properties and a weird malaise at the minute that they need to kind of. Where the fuck's this BioShock game, Jeff? I was talking to someone about this BioShock game 2 years ago, and they were like, "Yeah, I feel like we're getting to the point where we're probably gonna see something from it."
Yeah,
and then it was just
it's weird over there, right? Because they had that like BioShock-like game that I can't even remember the name of it. That was long into development, and that got canceled a few years ago, like right before the Game Awards and stuff like that. So like they're in a weird situation with a lot of those games over there. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that BioShock game.
It's like, so like getting a Borderlands 4 out there, fine. If Tiny Tina made a lot of money, cool. Tiny Tina, I feel like was maybe, I can't remember specifically when it came out, but I feel like it might have been caught up in the wave of everyone buying games during the pandemic. But yeah, I wonder if both of these survive the Embracer crash. You wonder if when Embracer all goes to hell in a handcart, if so big Strauss Zelnick was talking, he wouldn't be drawn on whether or not Take-Two would buy Gearbox, but Take-Two would buy Gearbox.
Yeah, like they would. I mean, because like if we look like past this precedent, it would be very similar to the THQ thing, where it's like if things didn't get sold off before the bankruptcy, these things would go to auction. And Take-Two at that point could not afford to let someone else get a Gearbox at that point, right? Yeah, because there's too much money in Borderlands. Yeah. Like they're too tied and entangled with that stuff. So it would make sense. I wonder if like I bet like the reason 2K didn't buy Gearbox originally is like they probably don't love working with Randy Pitchford, and I'm just guessing, and maybe I'm projecting, but they're like, yeah, we'll buy you, but Randy, you got to sit on the side. Go make your movies, but you got to sit on the sideline or something like that. And they would probably be able to make those demands at a certain point if that's how it worked out. I'm hearing news that Embracer is in the process of buying Mike Minotti. So, well, I mean, as everyone knows, he's for sale, 100%. I was thinking, like Mike's from a small enough town that we could probably get him famous enough that they would build a statue of him, maybe even before he died. And I think that would be very cool. I'm like, what can we do to make that happen?
Could we just dip him in bronze as he was dying and make that the statue?
I mean, we definitely could, and maybe should. We absolutely. Hey, real quick, let me help this kid. What do you need, kiddo?
Let me run the show.
Run the show.
If you're not already, subscribe to VGC, a video game podcast. It's a podcast weekly from VGC. See all this news you hear on Games Mess Morning, and they mispronounce our names. They're like, who is this from? It's from VGC. Go on to VGC, search podcast. You'll get a lot of podcasts about Pokemon VGC, the competitive video game championship. That's not us. We have bad SEO. But yeah, VGC, a video game podcast. Jeff was on it a million years ago, but he's been dodging me ever since. That bastard.
I'm busy that day.
What day is it? What day is it, Jeff?
That day.
Oh, okay.
So I was helping her, and she looks over at the computer and sees you talking, and she goes, "That's a Mike Minotti." Oh, from the mouth of babes. Oh shit!
I don't have one of the hats. Wait, let me take the glasses off.
I wish I was unmuted because I cracked up over there, but I had myself muted. You kiddo, you got it? You all right over there? There you go. All right. Oh, you broke the controller.
Someone on Twitter put a thing that's like Last of Us PS4, PS5 comparison photos, and it's me and Mike Minotti. First person to do that earns 50 retweets. Yeah. That's what I'll give you.
Oh, yeah. Easy. All right, kiddo. There you go. You should be able to just turn on the PlayStation now, and it should just work, and I'll get you to Spider-Man there in a second. All right. David Hayter hints that he has more Metal Gear Solid on the way. This is from Johan Makagard Hansen at Game Reactor. Before Jack Bauer actor Kiefer Sutherland took over the role of Snake in Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain, it was David Hayter who was known as the voice of the iconic super spy. Why he left the series has various explanations, but one of them is that Hideo Kojima simply wanted to attach a bigger name to the role. That's 100%. He's the biggest starfucker in the world. Of course, that's what it was. Despite Hayter's great support among fans. Now, however, it seems that the original voice behind the Solid Snake and Big Boss may be heading back to the series. This after he posted a cryptic tweet on Twitter where he poses with old Snake from Metal Gear Solid 4 with the text, "Had a pretty cool meeting the other day." He's been doing like promotional work for that trilogy, the Master Collection that just came out and stuff like that. They're obviously bringing him back. Do you think they have him do like new lines for 5?
Oh, that would be such a kick in the dick. I think that would be very, very funny. I don't know if they actually do it, but yeah, it's nice to see David Hayter back involved with the franchise, because it obviously means a hell of a lot to him. And there was those kind of murky middle years where it was like fuck it, the Fresh Prince. It was like, why you don't want me, man? Like that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think we wait and see. Maybe one of these remakes they do ends up being more expanded and they have to like record new lines for it. I don't know. I think just getting him on side is a good step. I still can't believe, and maybe Kojima's too prideful to do this, and maybe Konami's too prideful to do this. I think by the time we get through all these remakes that are in development for Metal Gear, one of them has Kojima's like blessing on it. Like they wheel him out on stage, and maybe like Sony or Microsoft puts money into this or something like this. But it's like he's not doing any work on it, but it is produced. It is executive produced once again by Hideo Kojima, while Kojima's off making like a hyper realistic 8K Timothée Chalamet.
I think that is on the grand scale of time of the video game industry. I think
everyone always comes back.
Yes,
everyone always comes back.
Listen, if it happens in wrestling where people are like legitimately murdering each other, and yet everyone eventually goes back and works for Vince McMahon, it's like it's going to happen in the games industry, which is just wrestling, diet wrestling at a certain point. So yeah, I mean, I think Kojima eventually will forgive, especially if enough money is involved, and forgive. He will accept the check. And then do exactly what you said. Now, I don't think it'll happen with this one. I think it'll happen down the line a little bit.
If this one's good, if this one's like well received and seems pretty respectful, I feel like Hideo Kojima's the Bret Hart of video games. You know, it can come across a bit bitter, but if things work out, he'll go back and protect the legacy.
Yep.
The last thing Kojima wants is for Konami to make a canonical Metal Gear 6 that he has nothing to do with, because that will really fuck him off. So we'll see.
Speaking of the man himself, Hideo Kojima and Timothée Chalamet, the collaboration we didn't know we needed. This is from Alex Hopley at Game Reactor. Hideo Kojima is a pretty popular guy. He's linked up with plenty of big name celebrities, including Norman Reedus, Léa Seydoux, Margaret Qualley, Ellie Fanning, and more. Also, all the names I've just listed either appear in Death Stranding or are set to appear in the sequel. So a lot of the time when people see Kojima leaking up with celebs, it seems like there's business to be had. Most recently, the video game auteur met up with Timothée Chalamet, the Dune Part 2 star. Might have a lot on his plate right now, but he still had time for a visit to Kojima Studios. Kojima Productions, excuse me. Do you think, what movie do you think Hideo just watched that made him want to have Timothée Chalamet be in this? It was probably Dune, right?
He got a preview of Wonka, and he was like, I need to get him in there. I think this ends up being, you know, in the first Death Stranding, like there was some celebs in it, but they didn't voice themselves. They were just like the people you went and took packages
Jeff
to.
Keighley,
so like, Edgar Wright, people like that.
Yep.
I bet you this is that tier thing, because I know someone who did like a documentary in Kojima Studios, and he was like, every time he gets one of these people in, he scans them because it takes like no time at all.
Right.
So,
he adds them to his collection of humans. Yeah.
Pretty much. So yeah, I could see this. We know Timothée Chalamet is like a gamer. He used to have a YouTube channel where he reviewed Xbox controllers.
Yeah, and he would paint custom Xbox controllers.
Yeah.
Yes, I think I did a story on that on this show. Yeah.
So I think that it makes total sense for him. This isn't Kojima just dragging in his favorite boy of the week. He was probably like Timothée Chalamet was probably pretty hyped to go there.
Oh yeah, involved, I mean this is Kojima's favorite boy of the week, but that's not all it is. Yes.
Yeah. So I pointed this out on Twitter. I think if Kojima's still involved in the Metal Gear movie, Chalamet for Raiden would be perfect. He's got little bitch energy, so I think he'd be the.
I would
the
love
one to do
that.
it.
That would rule. Our Wolves says Giant Bomb should buy a scanner and start collecting at TGA. Don't give Jan ideas. All right, he 1,000,000% want to do that. Don't give Jan ideas. Don't give him more work to do.
You can just scan Mike Minotti and change the accent for me. That's like a freebie right there.
It's perfect. You've heard his Pac impression. He could do it himself. All right, let's see here. ESRB listing reveals Konami is looking to bring back Felix the Cat game for Switch. This is from My Nintendo News. The Entertainment Software Ratings Board is a great source for unannounced games, and the latest game, which has been rated, is the Felix the Cat. The game is set to land on Nintendo Switch and other platforms and has been given an E rating by the U.S. Rating Board. The Felix the Cat game originally launched on Nintendo Entertainment System and was developed by Hudson Soft and published by Konami. There's a summary here, but there's a bunch of Felix the Cat games. This could be a collection. Hey, I remember playing these games back then and being like, man, the Depression was a fucked up time. They had some really whack cartoon characters. but hey, they were fun. It was Konami and Hudson working together. It was pretty good. How do you feel about all this?
Felix the Cat is I'm gonna put that in a list of things that I know absolutely dick all about. Tell me in 3 sentences, what kind of game is any good? Will anyone care?
Most people won't care. They're okay games, and they're platformers from what I remember.
Is this Bubsy? Is this Bubsy adjacent? It's like
proto Bubsy. Felix the Cat is, there's like Garfield and then like Heathcliff, and then like Felix was below Heathcliff in a certain way. So, yeah. It's just like cartoonists only knew how to draw a couple of things back then. So yes, we just kept getting all these cats.
Okay. Someone points out that there's a rapper known as Felix the Cat. I used to have a cat called Felix because I don't know if this is in the US, but there was a cat food brand called Felix where they have a little moggy cat, black and white. So very unimaginative 7-year-old me named the cat Felix. And he lived to be about 300 years old. So I wish every good fortune to the Felix the Cat heads out there.
My first cat was named Slimer from the Ghostbusters.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, last story here. And this is more like, hey, everyone go read this. How Black Myth Wukong developers' history of sexism is complicating its Journey to the West adaptation from Rebecca Valentine and Ki Hu Chan at IGN. Initial acclaim. Okay, actually, I kind of just broke down a bunch of stuff here, trying to like make this like a shorter version. Really, what this is a really good breakdown of this studio getting built up in a big way based on the virality of the original reveal for Myth Wukong, Black Myth Wukong, and then sort of a lot of criticisms coming out of the developer because they speak in at least some of the people at the studio speak in a very crude way, often about women. And for me, Jordan, I'm always in a position of like, it's tough for me over here in the United States to criticize developers in other countries where their culture is different, while we still have people in our culture that behave this way or worse. So what I'm very thankful about this story is and this just shows the hard work of hitting the pavement that Rebecca Valentine and Ki Hu Chan did, of speaking to women in China who voiced their own criticisms. And there's a lot of this in that story. And I'm just like deeply appreciative of that work. So this is a really good story that breaks that stuff down. I don't think it's some like thing where it's like this game can never recover from this, but I'm like at the same time like very glad that this criticism is happening, because I always feel like a little bit like, oh man, this game feels like it's coming from a place of a lot of talent, but maybe their sensibilities are a little bit behind where I would prefer my creatives to come from. Like, oh, a lot of these the people that I followed all my life, they've been through the ringer and have learned how to treat people, or at least have learned how not to treat people. And this feels like maybe that those lessons haven't been learned here. But again, who am I to say? Well, you know what? These women in China, they're the ones to say, and they are saying it. And it's been a nice thing to read. Did you get a chance to look into this?
I just saw it pop up as I was kind of, but Reb is a friend. She's one of the very best of us, so I'm really interested to look at this. People need to stop conflating reporting like this as like a takedown of the game itself or a preemptive review. This stuff is important. Where your games get made matter, who makes them matter, and this is exactly the kind of thing that I'm so glad that IGN's parent company is pouring money into now. They're willing to let people like Reb and people like Cat go and do this stuff. So yeah, It's an absolute recommendation. Yeah, brilliant stuff.
Yeah, I agree, and it's like, I mean, the power of an apology goes a long way. So it's like, all they got to do is just come out and say, we're sorry, we learned. And really that will undo a lot of the damage. Now, it's not a permanent fix. You have to actually be better in the long run. But saying you're sorry really does work. And it's like, this is an opportunity for this company and the people there to do that and see if they're capable of it, or if they double down. And we'll see what they do. But yeah. I know what I prefer. And I know the kind of people that refuse to apologize for like making like just kind of crass jokes and then be like, it's just an Al Bundy joke. And it's like, oh, just say you're sorry, homie. And people would be much better off with you. And it's like, no, if you refuse to, we know what you are. So, yeah, we'll see how this goes down. Looking forward to seeing more reporting from this as well.
You missed the most important story of the day, Jeff.
Oh, hit me with it.
Returnal's director is leaving Housemarque.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's I did see that and meant to include that. Yeah, what was his name?
Harry Kruger. Harry Kruger. He's a lovely, lovely man, and he directed the very best game on the PlayStation 5. So happy trails to him. Pound for pound, I've said this on Twitter, between Housemarque and Remedy, pound for pound, population for population, Finland is the greatest country on earth for developers. Land size, it is the same as Japan, but there is 125 million people in Japan, and there's like 5 people in Finland. So.
And they all worked at Rovio and then left, and I think that was Finland. I can't keep track of it anymore. And then started their own studios, and yeah, they're doing pretty good work over there. I am very curious about like where, like how. I always say that people leave these companies because there's a lot of opportunity to start your own studios. I'll be interested to see what that looks like for Harry Kruger, who almost certainly will not be leaving the game industry permanently. But
no, definitely not. Hopefully he can go and do his own VC stuff. Lexi, very, very quickly, I thought the best game on PS5 was Tilo Part 2. It's not on PS5 yet. It will be soon. Jordan Midler, undefeated. Thank you.
All right. I got a poll from Friday. Would Taylor Swift have enjoyed playing GoldenEye with Travis Kelce? Yes or no? I'm going to say no. 53% said no, and 40% said yes. That was 2,000 votes there. So shout outs to all the idiots out there willing to go along with me on these stupid polls. Did you see that Travis Kelce was like, oh, Halo Galo, the real people played GoldenEye.
Travis Kelce is in a profession where he takes a lot of hits to the head, and that's all I'll say on that matter. Are you a Swiftie, Jeff?
I'm not, but I'm also not a juggalo. I try to stay independent.
I'm a huge Swiftie. I think Taylor Swift is absolutely fantastic.
I'm glad to hear it.
I've been a Swiftie before this TikTok generation. You know what sick individual turned me on to Taylor Swift?
I'm going to say Greg Miller.
Correct.
He's a menace.
I'll give you a clue. He's 7'10". He is. He has the wingspan of a golden eagle, and
he just eats raw chicken wings. Yeah. That sounds right.
I think they're nice together. Look, I spend a lot of my time on the Gaylor subreddit, which is the ongoing. I don't want to say conspiracy theory because that is a bit of a pejorative. The ongoing theory that Taylor Swift is a bisexual woman and that she previously had relationships with women and she's not coming out because of the media, etc. And they do not like Travis Kelce over there.
Oh, really? Okay. Because I've talked to some Swifties and they seem like, oh no, we're very happy with our new dad, Travis Kelce. But those that I do not believe that they are frequenting the r/Gaylor. Gaylor, is that what you said?
Gaylor, yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's I'm glad the internet's out there still doing its thing in a kind of a beautiful way. You guys, take care of yourselves though. All right, don't go too wild with that stuff. All right, new poll question: are you going to update The Last of Us Part 2 for $10? We'll talk about that on Giant Bomb on Wednesday. We should have a show. Who knows? We'll figure it out. It's a short week because of American Thanksgiving. While we figure that out, Jordan, what do you have going on? And where can people find you? All that good stuff.
Oh, what the hell is going on this week? I'll ask you that. I'll ask you this question and don't answer if you're not allowed to answer. You playing that Avatar yet? Because we're not.
No, I'm not. I'm not playing. God, I guess that's coming out soon. What the fuck? Yeah. Holy crap, that's coming out soon. They're not going to send that out before Thanksgiving, I don't think.
Yeah,
because that's like they would have to like answer emails and stuff, and they're just not going to do that.
Over here in the colonies where there are no Thanksgiving, like I'm wondering what's going on with that, because look, it was a dog shit game, but the last Far Cry, we had a lot of time with it, so we'll see what happens there. VGC podcast on Thursday. Whole lot of something's happening tomorrow that I went to see last week at 2 p.m. UK time. Come to VGC and we'll have a nice a preview that is going to very limited amounts of people.
Grand Theft Auto 6, baby, let's go.
Pretty much. Yeah, not much, man. Just trying to chillax, relax out cool, hang about with my PlayStation Portal, the greatest handheld device, better than the Switch, some may say. Also, sorry, while I've got this platform,
dude's high on crack.
On Twitter yesterday, a lot of people went crazy because I responded to a friend saying that I'd heard that The Last of Us Part 2 was not the only thing going on at Naughty Dog. Of course, it's not the only thing going on at Naughty Dog. This isn't news.
Yeah,
people need to get
everybody.
a fucking life, okay? People were very nice about it. People were very excited, but one person told me this. Relax. If it was news, it would be on VGC. God bless.
You heard it from him. Everybody, get those rocks out of your head. God damn it. All right? Think for once. Use your noggin. Jordan, thank you so much for hanging out today with me, talking about video games. I mean, I really appreciate it.
Of course, brother.
Thank you all for hanging out. We're going to go figure out what's going on this week. I honestly don't know. I want to play some more Alan Wake 2. There's not a lot of time to fit that in, but I think ideally I will at least have one session of Alan Wake 2 today or this week. Either today, maybe Wednesday. We'll see. We will have a bombcast tomorrow. I kind of want to start it like a Thanksgiving tradition for BCR, but I don't know if we're going to have time to record that. I just can't commit other people to doing stuff yet. And really, I don't know when we'd fit it in. So look out for some stuff this week, but we'll be back in full force next week. I hope everyone in America has a nice Thanksgiving. Everyone else everywhere, be unthankful fucks. I don't care. Till next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself and goodbye.
Bye-bye.
All right. We're still hot mic'd. Oh,
hot mic.
No idea. Okay, cool. All right.